Welcome back to the Blocks Retro Repair YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working on this MegaTouch. I actually got this, I think, a year or two ago and put it in storage because, well, I thought it was going to be a quick flip, and then it got buried, and I kind of forgot about it. So today we're going to take a look back at it, see what we need to do to it, and see if we can finally get this fixed. I have another one of these in storage, and then I also have two stand-up ones in storage if this video is too short. So, let's get MegaTouching, I guess. Okay. We're also trying something new today, slightly better video quality, and more importantly, microphone quality. So hopefully this is actually sounding a little bit better. But here we are on the inside. We are missing the CMOS battery. I had put a new one in it before I put this in storage, and then I ripped that out because I needed it for another project real quick, and I never put one back, so we need to fix that. And we don't have a hard drive in it. I pulled the hard drive out to clone it. I think this one might have actually had a dead hard drive, so I needed to make a new hard drive. And that never occurred. Either that or it failed. I forget which. But either way, we need to make a new hard drive for it. I guess I need to figure out what this key responds to. I think I can find some stuff online because ultimately, it doesn't really matter what software version this says. It matters what software version this key is for. That also gets a little bit complicated because these stupid keys have an internal battery. And once that internal battery goes bad, the key is bad. There is some people making some aftermarket software that bypasses the, well, there's a couple that bypass the key, but they all have issues. And last I looked, somebody was testing one that would actually still read the dead key because it's still like readable, but it won't be read by the original software. Something stupid. I did a bunch of research into these a while ago. They're iKeys or something. And unfortunately, these original Maxxes, you can't copy them. The later MegaTouches, you can actually put these in an iKey reader and clone them. However, these early Maxxes, they are encrypted, and nobody's managed to decrypt them yet. So unfortunately, there's no reprogramming of these keys yet. I think it's probably going to be easier for somebody to make a software that just bypasses the keys, but I don't know. Let's see if I can find the correct software for this key, see if it works, see if this key works, and if it doesn't, maybe we can experiment with one of those keyless softwares. I'm gonna be honest, I thought there'd be a repository somewhere online of all of the ISOs for these MegaTouches. They've only been out for like 3 decades, but apparently not. So my MegaTouch 2K, well, MegaTouch Maxx 2K is what we're gonna have to go with. I do have that ISO, so I guess that's what we're gonna have to run. Went ahead and threw in a brand new Panasonic 2032 cell. That should be good there. We got our compact flash programmed. So let's throw this in. This should have the Maxx 2K, assuming I labeled my images correctly, and assuming everything is functional, should boot. I'm not convinced everything is functional though. And all the acceptors going around. We got one beep, which should be good, but we're not getting anything on the screen yet. It's a CRT. I'm also not hearing high voltage though, but I see screen, so I guess I'm just deaf. That's good enough. Probably gonna get a keyboard error maybe, because the CMOS battery died, so it probably reset some settings, but... Okay, yep. CMOS checksum bad. We're just gonna turn it off, turn it back on, and it might get past that. Now you notice the screen is shaky. We will have to fix that. That is a CRT issue, and it's not gonna let me boot it. You son of a bitch. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a keyboard, and then I guess we can boot, but maybe it'll work. What I was talking about though is that CRT. We're gonna have to recap that CRT, so I'm gonna have to figure out what it is and recap it. My personal MegaTouch also needs the monitor recapped, so I imagine they use the same monitor in all of them, so I just need to do some research and order some. I also got some spare ones of these monitors if that's not the case, so not too big of a deal. While it has USB ports, they apparently are no good. Most likely they just simply don't have the proper drivers or whatever is required for them to actually work, at least in the BIOS, so I grabbed a PS2 keyboard. Go long enough back on my channel, I actually retrobrighted half of this keyboard, and I think that was like 6 years ago, and at this point it has damn near yellowed back to the exact same amount that it was yellowed before I did that. But I hit F1, let's see if it actually boots. Sure doesn't look like it is. Yeah, fatal error. Okay, so it looks like we did not clone this drive correctly. That sucks. One of these drives is the drive out of that machine, more than likely. I have all of these copied. The problem is I don't know which drive is which, so half of them aren't labeled because the drives themselves weren't labeled, so I was unable to label them when I cloned them. So I think the easiest option is to slap these drives in until I get one that boots. I hit F1 on the keyboard again, and it looks like it's gone further, so it looks like our cloning must have failed. So I'm going to let this boot the whole way maybe, and make sure it does boot, and then we're going to clone it properly. Oh my god, I got it to boot. Also, apparently it's actually already 2K+, so that's convenient. It's already been updated. Oh my goodness, that was ridiculous. So let's go over what I had to finally do to get it to actually boot. It's stupid simple. Also, I should probably disable the erratic games. Okay, after it finished playing all the erratic games, it also then said, welcome to JDog, so I guess I know what bar this probably came from. That's super cool. But the good news is, I finally got it to clone. The way that I got it to clone was using a different software. Now that I've successfully cloned it to this SSD, we're gonna rip this SSD back out and we're gonna clone it to a compact flash because honestly, this game does not need a 240 gigabyte hard drive. The original Quantum Fireball was 2.5 gigs, so there's a few extra gigs on that hard drive that we don't need, so we're just gonna slap in a 16 gig compact flash. The way that I finally got this stupid thing to boot is using Disk Genius. And you may be saying, you're really stupid. Why didn't you try that first? And I did. I just kind of forgot how to use Disk Genius, and I right-clicked on the hard drive, and there's no clone option, so I'm like, oh, can you not clone in Disk Genius? That's stupid. Okay, I'll just go back to the softwares I've used before. Apparently, on this version of Disk Genius, you have to go to Tools, and then you can clone it. You can't just right-click on it and clone it. I had been using this. This is IME Backupper. I've used this all the time. It works great. Except for on Linux disks. Now that I remember it, when I was cloning my Maxx Arcade machine, that runs on Linux, and I also had issues cloning it with this. I forget what I did. I might have also just used Disk Genius for that and got it to work. I may be stupid, but apparently this software kind of fucking sucks. I guess I'm too young for this. Who the fuck is Uma Thurman? Screw it! I give up. We're going back to a SATA drive because clearly this thing just will not accept a compact flash. Well, I can confirm that it either does not like compact flash drives, compact flash adapters, or one of those two is bad because I put it on another SSD, a completely different SATA SSD, and used the restore instead of just a direct clone, and the restore worked, which means that the software, the files that I put on that compact flash are good, as you can see. So clearly it works, it just despises compact flash cards for some stupid reason. Did put it on a slightly smaller 120 gig SSD as, oh well, I guess that's closer to 2.5 gigs than 240. So we're just gonna 3D print an enclosure to mount the compact file, not the compact flash, our SATA SSD to IDE adapter and that SATA hard drive. Keep saying hard drive, but it's an SSD, into the original hard drive mount. We'll have to design that up, but as you can see, we are booted up. The screen is a little bit large, we need to shrink it down, but we also need to recap this monitor. While it's no longer shaking, the shaking has fixed itself, we're gonna recap it. Please don't go to an erratic game. Okay, we're good. As you can see, this is the Plus upgrade already, so we don't need to do any of that fun stuff to upgrade it to Plus, which is nice. You have got to be kidding me. I touched the calibrate button there and it fell apart. Are you kidding me? The good news is, while it's far out of calibration because our actual CRT size is not set correctly, there doesn't appear to be any dead spots in this. It's not a super amazing touchscreen, but it is not dead anywhere, so that is good. I disabled the erratic games, and I was going through the settings menu. You can disable women in golf. That is an odd setting to have. And we are gonna have to replace every fan in this computer, I guess we can call it that. The power supply fan sounds awful. The CPU fan keeps revving and unrevving. It sounds awful. And these backdoor fans are actually unplugged because if I were to actually plug them in, sounds like a jet engine about to take off. So we're gonna go ahead and replace all of these fans. I don't actually have them on hand, so I'm not gonna be able to do that today. But I will get those on order, and then once we have that, we'll replace all of those, and we'll also go ahead and rebuild that power supply because it is full of dirt. And by rebuild that power supply, I mean open it up and blow out all the dirt. After looking very closely at this monitor, on the very side there that you can't see is the model number. This is a Tatong, I believe it's called. It's the more common monitors in these MegaTouches, I believe, which is good because I can actually get a cap kit for it, and it's only like 25 bucks. Unlike my MegaTouch in my arcade, which uses a Wells Gardner monitor, which was used in like 5% of Maxx's from what I read in one website, so who knows how true that is, I cannot get a cap kit for it. I'm gonna have to go through it and figure out what all those caps are and order them separately at some point, but I'm not gonna do that right now. We're worried about this MegaTouch. But I can order a cap kit for that so we can fix that one from ever having any issues for hopefully the next few years. This power supply, unfortunately, somebody removed the correct power cable. This should have had a shallow power cable that plugged in right there, and came out, I guess, yeah, right there. But unfortunately, somebody decided to just cut a giant chunk out of the metal right there so that they could use a standard power cable, and we might leave that. I do actually have a spare MegaTouch frames, so I'm pretty sure I have spare back panels, but honestly, is it worth it? Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. But I think the next thing we need to do is actually clean everything up. And if you don't know, you can actually take the wooden frame off of these machines. So what we're gonna do is you just have to pull up this lever and this lever at the same time and slide it forward, and the wood section and this top area will come off of this, and then we can clean everything a lot easier. Once you've managed to slide it forward, you have to lift it up just slightly as it actually slots in. Let's see if I can get a good picture of it right in here. I should be able to. Yeah, this thing right here will be in the slot. You have to push it forward enough to unslot that, and then you can just lift it straight up, which I already did a little bit, which is why it's no longer setting in its correct slot, which means now I can just lift this whole frame off. But I need two hands because it is surprisingly heavy. Now, before you pull that thing off, you do need to disconnect some things. This is usually Velcroed to the side. You have to take that off. You have to unplug the fans that we did. You have to unplug the earths that top, and there usually is a pipe. I'm not seeing the pipe on this one. I didn't have to disconnect it, but I've already had that off before. But usually there's a pipe that leads down from the hinge on this, because when somebody would spill their drink on this, because it's in a bar, people are drunk, they spill their drinks on it, that water should get caught in that hinge, and there should be a pipe that routes it out to the bottom to avoid the motherboard and the CRT. Well, I can't find the pipe in the unit, but as you can see, the but the beer, whenever you spill it on top of here, would get caught in this tray, and it exits through this little hole down here, which you'd have a pipe attached to drain all of that liquid out from hopefully hitting the motherboard and such. I remembered I have another MegaTouch here. I can just show you. As you can see, this pipe is attached right here, and it leads down and drains through this little thing that drains the liquid out the side here to dump it on the countertop that it's sitting on, instead of dumping it directly on the high voltage of the CRT, which could be not so great for you, and also very bad for the machine. Here is our MicroTouch module. I'm not actually sure if they're owned by 3M at this point, but they may have been, I'm not sure. They don't actually advertise 3M on that. Take our touchscreen frame off. We have some foam that's actually still in good shape, so that's good. We'll have to clean that up. And we have our touchscreen. As you can see, we have a gaff tape here on the edge that's supposed to prevent dust from getting in between the layers of the CRT and the touchscreen. And I actually think it did a pretty good job of it, so we don't need to take that off and redo that. And now we can much easier get to our broken button. Interestingly, that number doesn't match what the software said. And that's why I'm talking about spraying out this power supply to get all the dirt out, because this power supply, if left running, will most certainly overheat and die. Unfortunately though, as you can see, this button is actually broken, so we need to replace it. Conveniently, I happen to have multiple MegaTouch carcasses that I picked up a while ago as broken MegaTouches that happen to not have any of the important parts to make a MegaTouch. To prevent us from having to cut the wires and having a weird splice in there, what we are doing is I disassembled both buttons, and we're going to be replacing the plastic on the one button and taking our two parts and just putting them back together on this two prongs here. This way we don't have any weird splices that would not matter at all, but I care about. Just like that, we now have a functional calibrate button. So what we need to do now is grab a rag, some soapy water, and start cleaning. I'm not too concerned about the power supply because we're going to pull that out to replace the fan, and then we'll clean all that dirt out. I'm not too concerned about the motherboard on the CRT because we're going to pull that out and clean that out whenever we recap the CRT, but everything else needs a nice bath. This is the coin input section. As you can see, we have a normal quarter input and a dollar bill acceptor. We're pulling that out. This machine is gonna go in someone's private home. These aren't really used in businesses anymore, well, these older ones like this. And I'm gonna be honest, this is a Mars Series 2000. That's worth nearly $100, and that's nearly half the value of this entire MegaTouch. So we're pulling that out, and we're gonna use it, again, on something more valuable, like a vending machine. Bill acceptor has been removed. Now, we're just gonna have to come up with something to cover that, funnily enough. My personal MegaTouch also doesn't have a dollar bill acceptor because that is a massive waste, and it didn't actually come with one when I bought it. My personal MegaTouch just happens to have a plastic plate in there, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. Ahead and threw together this quick little 3D printed mount so we can actually mount our actual new drive and drive adapter. So now we can actually put this back in, bolt it down, and our drive is permanently mounted. Now I did realize this drive's supposed to be facing the other way for the original drive. The unfortunate part is whoever made this IDE to SATA adapter made it so the IDE cable is on the opposite side as the hard drive would be, so it doesn't actually fit the other direction, so we have to have it this direction. But it fits, it'll clear the back panel, that's fine. Now we need to take measurements of all these fans so we can all get them ordered and get a shopping list for everything we need to get this finished. So we're looking at 50 for the CPU and 280s, and no, 380s. 180 for the power supply and then 280s for the actual back panel. Super simple. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next MegaTouch. Here we are in secondary storage, and what idiot put the MegaTouch back there? Oh boy, that's gonna be fun to get to. As you can see, unfortunately, it's rough. This one is a lot worse shape, and unfortunately, I can't sell it like this. This side over here, let me get you some light, isn't so bad. I could live with that. Looks fairly good. There's a little bit of damage in that bottom corner, but that's fine. This side, however, it ain't fine. This side has seen a ton of moisture. It is super swelled up. It is cracked. There is a huge chunk missing of the wood. I can't sell this. This is fragile as all hell. Yeah, no. So I have two options, really. Well, I guess kind of three. I have spare wooden shells, but they're for jade, and unfortunately jade is above diamond. And there is currently no jade keys for sale online, so I can't upgrade this to a jade, and if I put the jade shell on it, that would look weird, and I couldn't sell it like that. This is my personal one. As you can see, these blank sides look great, and they would look fantastic on that machine. The problem is, I don't really want to do that, because I think I might sell this machine as well. I have some MegaTouch Forces, I believe they're Forces, they're the stand-up ones in the trailer, so hopefully maybe I'll get to those someday, and I can probably sell this one and put one of those right here, and I think it would look a lot better. Good news, though, is we have another one of these monitors. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, make sure you do that. This is the monitor that I can actually get a cap kit for, which is good. Saves me some time, so I'll add a second cap kit to my shopping list. We also gonna add the, I believe, same amount of fans, two back ones, one power supply one, and it looks like we have the same CPU fan, so two 380s and a 50. So that'll be simple enough. Add all that to my shopping list, basically just double my shopping list. We're also missing our battery, so we'll have to grab a new battery for that. I had a actual clone drive in this already, but then I stole the drive for another project. So we're gonna see if we can get this one on compact flash, because the compact flashes are a lot cheaper to me because I get my compact flashes for free. They're used, but I get them for free. So we're gonna see if we can use that. I would love to be able to use that over having to spend money on a SATA drive. Again, this one's actually a 3 GB game. Now we have a SATA drive in it, so we're gonna hit the power switch back here. Where is it? There it is. Let's see if it turns on now. That makes some fun noises. But if you're enjoying the hopefully better audio and hopefully better image quality, it's the same camera. I just switched to actually using 4K 60 instead of 1080 60. Mainly because the last time I tried doing 4K 60, my computer cried when I tried to edit it. But since then, I have upgraded from a computer that wasn't top of the line in 2012 and is something actually relevant in 2025. So hopefully it won't cry when I try to edit this video. Are we boot looping? I feel like we're boot looping. I strongly feel like we're boot looping. Weirdly, the drive is refusing to boot, even on the original drive. So I think we might have a hardware-related issue, not a drive-related issue, because I tested the drive and it has no bad sectors. So let's just reseat some stuff and just that might fix it. Who knows? There we go. Reseated the RAM and the I/O board, and look at that. Why the hell does it have 253 credits? My goodness. But it has booted up, so that is good. Now the CRT is crackling, so we'll have to buy a new flyback for this, which also amazingly is available for this CRT. So we'll add that to the shopping list for this one, a flyback. But now what we need to do is we need to test this touchscreen, because if the touchscreen doesn't work, we're kind of screwed. Not really, because I have spare ones. It looks like we do have a hole in this, so we'll replace this shroud since I have spare shrouds. That's not a big deal, but seems to be working. Okay. This one has a little bit more time on it, 100,000 plays. We're just gonna go in here, as you can see that fun arcing of the flyback, and we're gonna do the touchscreen test in here because, sweet, we are rocking a solid touchscreen. Exactly what we want to see. I also went ahead and turned off the erratic games so those don't pop up on me. What is this button? I don't think that website exists anymore. I've never even heard of Moondrop. What am I supposed to do? Oh, God, what the? Hey, nobody else has ever played it before. The good news is this one should be fairly simple. I'll order the fans, I'll order the cap kit, I'll order a flyback. The wood, we're just gonna cut out new melamine pieces. They're simple enough. I'll get a router trace bit, I guess. I don't actually have one. I think I did, and I don't know where it's at. So I'll order a new one of that, and we'll just cut out new sides. It'll be nice, it'll be melamine, it'll look good. And if I want, I have some, like, wood grain vinyl or something I could put on it and make it cool, I guess. Somebody might like that. We're gonna get new fans, obviously, get this fully cleaned up, but that's pretty much all I'm going to do right now. There for a second, I thought my CMOS battery wasn't in that, but It is, I just couldn't see it from that angle. You can also see on this MegaTouch we have the shallow power cable, which routes out down there, so they don't have to cut the giant piece of metal out right there. I'll search to see if I can buy some power cables, because this one needs replaced. And if I do replace it on the other one, I'll switch the back panel for one of my spare back panels that doesn't have that corner cut out of it. But ultimately, I got both drives, both units booting off of the stupid SSDs, and that's what I was having trouble with. And since they're both booting off of SSDs now, we should be good to go and order all the parts to finish these up, and hopefully get them sold, because honestly, I don't need so many MegaTouches. They're not, sorry to all the people in the MegaTouch fan clubs, that great. It's nice to have one. I will have one in my arcade because it's a very fun thing to have. But I don't need 5, because I got these 2 that I showed in this video, my one that's in my arcade, and then I have the 2 stand-up ones in a trailer that I picked up for free. So I don't need 5 MegaTouches. I need to get rid of them. But in case this happens to meet the MegaTouch fan people, 1, why are you allergic to archive.org? Seriously, that's a real question. One person has uploaded a disk image to there. Why haven't the rest of you? You're posting this stuff privately when you could just put it on archive.org. That's an interesting question. Secondly, is this Wells Gardner monitor worth recapping? I happen to have a ton of the other monitors that I can just buy a cap kit for, and I could just slap one of those in there. Is this one better? Is it worth the time? Obviously, I wouldn't throw it out. I'd keep it, but is it better than the other monitor, or should I just swap this one out since I have the other ones to the ones that are a lot easier to recap? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. It's probably not worth it, but who knows? And I'm sure if this did come across any MegaTouch fan people, I've probably committed like 27 MegaTouch atrocities in this video that I'm going to get, gonna hear about in the comments. But ultimately, I think I hopefully did something correct and managed to get these actually to boot. We'll get this wood replaced so it's not this. We'll get the new fan so it's not sounding horrendous. We'll get a new cap kit, new flyback so that one stops crackling. But without further ado, doesn't want to spin. We have a MegaTouch that is functional, and that's really all that matters. I'll see you next time.